Hey folks, welcome back, or of course, welcome to Lone Pine Tarot, and as I always say, thank you so much for joining us for our pick a card reading today. Now, today's topic, of course, doesn't need too much explanation. It's a good old-fashioned, a message you're meant to hear today type reading. So I think what will come through for all of us today is just what the universe and your spirit guides want you to know most, what is most helpful for you to hear at this point in time. Now, without further ado, let us choose our pile leaders to pick the messages with. So calling on spirit for our highest, best, good, please guide us to the correct cards for people to be drawn to the correct pile. Thank you. Okay, I'm feeling drawn to this part of the deck. Let's see which one stands out the most. Actually, I'm feeling drawn to this one, so let's start there. Pile number 1. Your pile leader today is the card of change with the hot air balloon and the horse attached to it. Very beautiful. For pile number 2 here, we have a lake with pine trees. Your keyword with your card today is illumination. And last but not least, for our wonderful pile number 3, you have community with the butterflies in the forested wood. All beautiful cards and beautiful keywords today. So quick refresher, pile 1, you are change. Pile 2, you are illumination. Pile 3, you are community. Though as I always say, you are 100% welcome to pause on this part of the reading if you need more time to decide which of these piles draws you in the most. If you're new to pick a card readings and you're like, hey, Lone Pine, suggest me like a method to choose. Or perhaps you're really busy and stressful today and you just want a nice little meditative moment of peace. Please follow my voice right now. So close your eyes, take in a deep, cleansing breath. Imagine it's the deepest breath you've taken in all day and light filling your lungs as you do so. Then hold it for just a moment or two. And then breathe back out again and open your eyes. And when you look at the screen, out of these 3 different piles, where are your eyes drawn most first? And when you look there, does it feel right in your gut? And that is the pile that I recommend you choose for your message. But whatever your method, of course, when you are ready, you can drop down to the description box below or the top pinned comment. Find the timestamp for your pile, and I'll see you in our chat about the message you're meant to hear today. See you in your reading. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 1. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about the message you're meant to hear right now at this moment. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the beautiful card of change for your pile leader. Now, right off the bat, I'm drawn to, of course, the word change itself. So I think, and this isn't even intuition speaking, this is just because of the keyword of this card, you were drawn to this pile because you want change in some way in your life. Perhaps things have been feeling kind of stagnant. Perhaps there's something that you wanted some movement on, but it feels like, like the cogs just aren't turning. Or another metaphor I like to use with things feeling stagnant is like a river or a creek that feels kind of dammed up in some way, like leaves and logs have kind of got all jammed up, and then it's like you're asking the universe, please, can you just move all of the debris out of the way so that things can flow smoothly again. It could also be not just stagnancy, but also intuitively I do hear something about maybe at least a good portion of you. It's not like there isn't any movement or change whatsoever. It's just that it's not going fast enough. Like there's maybe just a trickle, but still you want that full flowing river, so to speak, of momentum going forward. So I think that's what your spirit guides in the universe want to talk to you about today, is that feeling of forward momentum. It might be advice in terms of how to get there or how to get that momentum going, or it might be a prediction of some sort on like how this will start flowing again for you. So with that in mind, let's move to your first kind of set of cards I want to draw today. I want to draw your tarot spread as well as one of your other oracle cards. So let's first move to the Lantern Oracle. Spirit, for pile 1, what do you want to say about this change of some sort? Especially for those watching, that I'm feeling it's like not so much that there's no movement, but it's just not fast enough. What's going on here? Okay, I'm definitely drawn to this part of the pile right there, or this one. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. We have emptied. And there we go. We have a river right there, flowing right by the figure lying down. And it says, number 24, emptied. The ending and beginning lie at either side of the same door. So maybe it's not just like steady momentum you're looking for, pile number 1. It might also be like you want to close a door of some sort. So maybe the actual mechanism of change that you're seeking has been something about, I want to close a door on this chapter so I can open a new door in the next one. Like, I don't know if there's something like you kind of just have been wanting to leave behind. You're like, I don't want this dragging me down anymore. Kind of the feeling I'm getting intuitively is this sensation of like an anchor holding you like to your ankle, and like you just having to kind of like limp along and drag this anchor. And it's this sensation too of you wanting just to cut the rope of that anchor attached to your ankle so that you can just run free again. So maybe that's the kind of the stagnancy I was feeling before, with the change that I think that you might be seeking, pile number 1, is it's maybe the apt metaphor isn't the river so much. Maybe it's more that anchor metaphor. Like, you can still make movement, you can still move forward, but with that really heavy anchor holding you down, it's like moving through molasses, is like my family likes to say specifically. Like, walking through molasses is just so hard every single step, okay? So Spirit is recognizing that with this card. And it's interesting. It's the keyword of emptied makes me almost think of not a melancholy necessarily that you might be feeling, but more like drained. It's like a feeling of drained. Like, you feel like you're just not into something anymore, or it's like you're not as invigorated or excited because of the sensation of this like anchor holding you down. So let's look at your tarot spread. That will also provide, of course, lots of clarity. So Spirit, same thing. Can you tell me more about what's going on? And then also this tarot spread will help us glimpse into like where it's going, or like what exactly Spirit wants to talk to you about. Like, is it advice to get past this, or like what's the mechanism that's going to change this for you for the better? So let's see what Spirit has to say here. Okay, so we have the 5 of Cups, and we have that river once again, pile number 1. Look at all the synchronicity. So I mentioned the river, and then we had a river here and emptied, and now you have a river here in 5 of Cups. And that is exactly kind of what I was talking about when I mentioned melancholy, or like an emptiness of some sort, or a feeling drained, because the 5 of Cups is all about a sorrow of some sort. And it's interesting too, because literally the way that the 5 of Cups often depicts this sadness or this loss or this sorrow is spilled cups turned over, like literally being emptied, like your Lantern Oracle card had used as a keyword. So lots of synchronicity in this reading. Really cool. Let's keep going. I will talk, of course, more about the 5 of Cups with the context that the other cards give us. So it did flip out on its own, so that was really specially emphasized by Spirit. I think some of you might even be kind of depressed about this, so maybe melancholy was a good word to use, because the 5 of Cups can mean sadness as well. It's like, to use a seasonal metaphor, it's like kind of being stuck in the winter of... There we go, start there. It's like being stuck in the winter of your life. And it's like the spring feels like it's never coming. It's that sensation, pile number 1. Which my empathy, if so, because, and condolences, because... I think when we get stuck in ruts like that, it's really hard to see the end. It's really hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel of what's going on. And maybe, once again, that's why you were drawn to change so much as your pile leader, because you're like, man, I want change so bad, because this place is not a fun place to be, especially the 5 of Cups. Your next card is the Explorer of Pentacles, which reversed, which is the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Okay, yep. That's the other thing, too, is, so normally a Knight of Pentacles, pile number 1, represents someone making progress, but slowly and steadily. But reversed, it's like feeling like we've come to this absolute standstill of like, there might be a little bit of progress here, which is like tiny baby steps, but not slow and steady, reliable pace like the Knight of Pentacles typically depicts when it's upright. So definitely can see that. We have the 9 of Swords reversed. Okay, so that's a first good sign coming through, especially with the present position card here. I think that might also be why Spirit wanted to bring this up to you, so we'll keep going. I'll explain that in a minute. Then we have the Empress reversed, which is interesting because that's very similar to kind of like the emptied card. Especially with her symbolism here, it almost, at least she has like a seed or a light in kind of where her womb is, right? So, and the Empress card is the motherhood card, so we have a bit of a synchronicity there too with motherhood in some way. And then last but not least, we have the Four of Cups reversed. And look at that river again, pile number 1. I don't know if there's some sort of like symbolism here with rivers that's resonating with you. Like, even if it's something as simple as like a work project that you've been slogging through and has been making you upset or like stressed out, maybe like the place you work at has the word river in it, or like you work near a river, or it doesn't necessarily have to do with your career, pile number 1. It could be also like relationships and whatnot, but any area of your life. But there's something about rivers that keeps popping up. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, now we have the full picture. So basically what they're saying, pile number 1, is, as we said, we acknowledge that you're looking for change. You don't want to feel like you're moving through molasses or with an anchor on your ankle anymore. You want to close a door of some sort. You want to move forward. You want to get away from this sadness. But in the recent past, you've still been maybe kind of slogging through it. Now, I don't think, pile number 1, you're still at the point of like the deep sorrow or sadness, or at least I think that is slowly kind of like soon on the mend, because your recent past is this the Knight of Pentacles reversed. So maybe a little bit of progress still, but like still not the steady, reliable pace that you're looking for, like say had the Knight of Pentacles been upright. All right, the good news is you do have the Nine of Swords reversed here. Upright, that normally would mean a negative thing, but reversed, it's one of the few reversals that it's great when it's, you know, in the reverse position. So basically what that means, pile 1, is this is a time of anxiety coming to an end. So Spirit is saying, I recognize this. I'm trying to help your anxiety and your sadness and your upset and your worry come to an end here. Now, there is a piece of advice here with the future cards, the Empress reversed and the Four of Cups reversed, that I think they're trying to offer to you to help you get past whatever this is. But before I move on to that, I do want to draw your other 2 oracle cards, because those will also probably give us some insight that in conjunction with these 2 last cards will help provide the full picture of like what they're talking about. So I just want to make sure I have all the cards on the board before I explain, just so, you know, it's like letting Spirit finish their conversation before I interpret it for you. So, Spirit, what else do you mean about with the advice with the Empress reversed and the Four of Cups reversed in terms of reducing the worry or like what's been bothering them? What will help, pile number 1? Okay, that one was like picky. Okay. And then this one as well. I'm feeling drawn to this one. Actually, I'm going to take 3 of them because that one also really wanted to come out. So we have that, and then we also will have your Nature's Whispers Oracle, pile number 1. Okay, Spirit, what do you want to say from this deck? Thank you. Definitely that one. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so first up to bat, we have from the Nature's Whispers Oracle. Oh, upside down. Oh, cute. We have Make a Wish, the first card in the entire deck. Okay, so that might indicate that this is related to a wish of yours that maybe feels like it's been slogging. It could also indicate that this is part of the advice in terms of, and I want to say part of the advice is to keep up optimism or hope for something, because when you do make a wish on, say, a dandelion, well, what are you doing other than indulging in the optimism of hope that making a wish will work, right? It's believing in the better of tomorrow. So before I expand on that too much, let's look at the other cards. We have dogs, getting together with friends. Okay. Then we have eagle, triumph over troubles and obstacles. Okay, fantastic message. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel with what you've been dealing with. And then we have older woman, dealings or relationship with an older woman. Okay, so this is where things are going to be getting more specific, pile number 1. What Spirit is saying with this is, you know, and I almost wonder if for some of you this is related to your mother, because we have the motherhood symbolism with your emptied card, as well as the Empress is like the motherhood card, and then we have older woman as well. especially with the Empress having been reversed, some of you might have like a negative relationship with your mother that has been affecting you, that maybe plays a really big role in what's been making you sad or upset, or maybe like you lost your mother recently, which once again, my condolences if so, pile number 1. In fact, if that's the case, it might even be like your mother in this kind of as like a general message reaching out to you, right? Speaking through spirit in general speaking, right? Let's see here. Okay, so pile 1, especially with the 4 of Cups reversed. Paying attention. Okay. Now, this is going to be vastly different for each and every one of you in terms of how this applies to the fix of getting out of this kind of rut or like feeling a molasses walking through anchor ankle, right? But speaking generally, there's something you're not noticing that if you were to look up and raise your head, it would help you a lot out of this particular problem that you've been having. I think the reason why you have not been looking up, very understandably, pile number 1, is I think it's this feeling of like sadness and loss. I mean, maybe even too, like if you lost your mother, that might have been what the 5 of Cups was talking about in terms of loss. Or, you know, even if your mother is still alive, pile number 1, the loss might be in terms of, you know, if you do have like a maybe not the best relationship with your mother, maybe it's dealing with the feeling of, you know, yes, she's still physically around, but emotionally it's still kind of a like a loss, emotional death of a mother in some way, right? Even if she's, you know, still alive. And so understandably that would make you upset. Understandably that might make you feel like you have that anchor around your ankle. Okay. Maybe even part of the issue is feelings of regret, or feelings of that loss, or feelings of like what could have been, or what you should have done, or what she should have done, or, you know, even if your mother isn't involved with this, pile number 1, you know, extrapolate that to the situation, the coulda, woulda, shoulda type feelings to whatever's been going on, okay? And so understandably, like, you have your head kind of lowered. You understandably are like, oh, you know, I don't really see a way out of this. I feel like, you know, but Spirit is saying if you were, and this is one of the hardest things when we're dealing with sadness and loss and sorrow, if you were to look up and have hope and faith in the optimism, to have optimism, I should say, in believing that there is light in the future, that there are better pastures, that things can be good again, that will help you find that door that you're looking for to that better new beginning. It's one of those things in life, pile number 1, where the universe might be throwing a lot of opportunities your way out of the problem that you've been facing, or out of the sadness that you've been facing, you know, ways to emotionally move forward or heal. But it's still within our power and within our hands to look up and see the things the universe is offering us. If we keep having our head held down and we always believe in the pessimism, we always just think, well, there's no way it's going to get better, or no way that this is going to improve, or I don't see any way out of here, well, then we're never going to see the door open right in front of us. We're just going to keep walking past on by. It's kind of like, you know, you walking down a street of sorts looking for a door, but because you're looking down at the concrete, at the asphalt that you're walking on, you don't see all the doors passing by you on the street. It's that kind of thing, pile number 1. And it's not the universe saying it's your fault. A lot of us do this. We get kind of this tunnel vision of sorts, right? Where we think, you know, we kind of get like stuck in that, like that rut of that tunnel vision, as I was saying, where we think like they're like such a bad thing happened, or this thing has been weighing me down so much, like how can it improve? How can this get better? And sometimes, as I said, that really honestly, pile number 1, the door opening is you opening the door through the power of the optimism of believing that you can. It's one of those things where it's like we think to get that optimism or that hope or that happy thing that the universe has to throw the door our way, when really the universe has been throwing the door our way the whole time. It's just that we haven't looked up and opened it ourselves. It's that kind of mechanism that I'm talking about. There is a hint, though, as to where this door that you're looking for might be. You do have triumph over obstacles and troubles here from the Eagle, okay? We do have this forward momentum of this is going to get better. Especially because here we have the Nine of Swords reversed as the centralized card of kind of like why Spirit wanted to bring this up to you today. And basically that's Spirit saying to you, Pile 1, we wanted to talk to you about it because it is going to get better. We're going to reduce your worry and reduce your anxiety with whatever this is, or like your worry and or like sadness, anxiety, etc. will be reduced. Okay. But it would go faster and it might be smoother. You might get to the thing, the change, the momentum that you've been looking for, the cutting off of that anchor on your ankle if, like I said, you look for the opportunities around you. And I think, Pile number 1, they're coming through your connections with other people because of the Dogs card. Getting together with friends. Also, I did interpret that the older woman could be a mother figure. For those of you, this is related to your mother in some way. For some of you, this might actually be the person that you're meant to connect out to in terms of the getting together with friends, so, no matter what your age is, there might be a friend or someone available to you that is an older woman, or like if you are an older person or older woman, etc., about your same age, you know what I mean, kind of adjusted to your particular situation, how old you are, Pile number 1. And there's something there with that older woman or with friends in general that will help you overcome and find the momentum that you're looking for. Okay, that door that you want to be opened for you. And the same thing too with the Empress reversed and the Four of Cups reversed. Another reason why I used that metaphor of you kind of like looking down at the concrete and not noticing is because the Four of Cups, Pile number 1, is often about apathy or not noticing something. Reversed, it's basically Spirit saying, you're going to notice something. Because of the advice you've gotten in this reading, it's going to be like you looking up finally and going, oh, that's where that door is there, through the power of my connections with other people that maybe I wasn't looking at quite closely enough before. There's also another message here, though, too, Pile 1, with the Empress reversed, of a need for greater feminine energy in your life. And when I say that, what I mean in a tangible sense is a need for greater self-love and a need for greater self-care. That's kind of what I'm intuitively feeling off of that card. Maybe recently you've been kind of neglecting your self-care a little bit, which is, once again, 100% understandable. Like, we've all been there. I guarantee you, if you asked every single person that commented down below, have you ever neglected self-care when you've been down or sad, or if you lost someone or you feel upset? Everybody would say 100% yes. So it's not a shame thing, Pile number 1. We all lapse in certain things when we're dealing with emotional pain. But that might also help you in a way, too, if you were to just say to yourself, what's one thing I can do today that would help nurture myself in some way? Maybe it's taking an especially long bubble bath with your favorite scent. Something like that. Or maybe it's on the way home from work, you pick up your favorite kind of cookie at the store. I know that sounds silly, Pile number 1, like as simple as like a bath or your favorite cookie or, whatever. Even if it's as simple as, you saying to yourself one thing that you're proud about yourself of every single day, even if it just like takes you 5 seconds. Even just that small, little, tiny thing, that tiny action can make pivotal change and pivotal differences in our lives towards opening doors. Because it might just start as a little spark, a little ember, right? But as we all know, I know it sounds cliche and corny, but I'll just say it because this is the metaphor coming to mind for me. Every fire starts with even just the tiniest spark. That's all it requires, Pile number 1. So choose to set sparks. Choose to love yourself. Choose self-care, especially in this time. And also, too, that might help you with the... if you maybe have been a little bit more antisocial recently, once again, very understandably, that's why, especially if you've been feeling sad, you might look at connecting with other people as a form of that self-care that we've been talking about, okay? Because a lot of our health is in our connections to other people. And I say this as someone who's very introverted. I 100% understand the whole I want to hermit out mode, but I don't want to talk to people. I just want to be solitary and, do my own little hobbies and things. 100% get that, Pile number 1. But being with other people can be very healing, as much as solitude is sometimes as well. All things in life, as we know, it comes down to a great balance of opposites. Okay, so if you were to push yourself a little bit more to connect with other people more, that would be a form of that self-care that will help you as well. But in general, pile 1, if there's anything you walk away from this reading from, it's basically, it's basically a confirmation from Spirit saying mending is on the way for the things that you've been worried about or been sad or upset or like anxious about. Okay, the change that you've been looking for is coming, because, you know, we see triumph over troubles and obstacles. You know, we have the card Make a Wish, which is a very positive card in terms of, you know, even it's number 1 too, like a new beginning. Number 1 is the new beginning of each story in terms, you know, numerically speaking. So things will change. Okay, things will get better. I know it's cliche. You might be like, well, how? You know, even though we had some of a glimpse here, right? We talked about, you know, connections with others and your self-care, etc. But even if some of this doesn't make quite sense yet, because maybe you haven't gotten to the point where, like, you see, you know, maybe where this older woman is, or, you know, like what door that, you know, you'll look up and see, like, you don't maybe quite glimpse that yet, just be assured that that door is coming. To change, to a new beginning, to a new chapter with that triumph over troubles and obstacles, okay? Even if it doesn't make 100% sense right now. So really what Spirit wanted to tell you today, the message you're meant to hear today, pile number 1, is it's going to get better, number 1, but then number 2, I'm trying to think, like, what's the one main thing they want to say to you? I'm going to tap in for just one moment. They're saying something about healing yourself. So it's something about healing yourself is really one of the other main points that they want to leave here for you at the end of the reading, okay? It's like a pivotal change towards the healing of the heart from the wound it has incurred that, you know, we saw with the 5 of Cups, okay? All right, so Spirit loves you, pile number 1. Spirit loves you very much, as I can tell from this reading. And like I said, if there's anything you come away from this reading with, it's that message precisely. So hope this reading, that you liked it, it resonated, and it helped you. Please, if so, like the video, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and thank you so much if you do choose to do so. And as is our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, pile 1, full of healing and new beginnings and triumphs and change that you've been seeking, right? And I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 1. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 2. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about the message you're meant to hear at this point in time. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the beautiful card of the lake that is so calm it looks like a mirror, pine trees all around, and the keyword, of course, is illumination. So right off the bat, I think maybe one of the reasons you were drawn to this card is anchored in its keyword. Illumination means to, of course, shed light on things. It also means to make things clearer, just like how clear and bright the lake is in this particular depiction. And so I almost wonder, and we'll see with your other cards, pile 2, if you came here to this reading wanting an answer to something. That's what I'm feeling because of that keyword. We will see, as I said, in the other cards, but that is my first kind of gut feeling off of your reading today. And so, of course, with that being said, I think this reading might be Spirit providing an answer to you of some sort. Maybe you came to this reading asking, you know, oh, Spirit, can you tell me how to fix this problem? Or, oh, Spirit, I hope you, give me an answer to something that I've been wondering, will it happen or will it not happen? Let's glean some more details. So, Spirit, thank you so much for helping us today. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you want to talk to pile 2 about today? Thank you. So we'll start, of course, with this Oracle deck, pile 2, and then we also will draw your tarot spread. Then we will have some Oracle cards later. This one right here. Okay, thank you. So your Lantern Oracle today is, number 29, Radical Self-Acceptance. You are perceived the way you perceive yourself. Interesting how we had a card about seeing things clearly with illumination, and now we have another card, almost in synchronicity pile 2, that is about perception in some way, specifically perception of self and perception of others. Maybe you're asking how someone saw you or how someone sees you, or you're asking like how something you did was received because maybe you didn't really get a lot of, to your face like feedback, or let's just keep going. We'll see what the tarot spread says. We have a bit of a picture forming quite clearly here. And even the, this particular art here with this card, it's like she's this bright red satin enfolded figure in the fog. Blue fog specifically. Making things more clear and bright. See what else Spirit wants to say to you. We for sure, this one is like, pick me. That one. Okay, and then let's draw the others. Right there. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. Some more nitty-gritty details. We have Temperance reversed with the imagery of fire versus ice. Okay, bringing something into balance, greater moderation. And then once again, we have like that fog imagery too. Like literally, because between the fire and the ice, we have that steam that forms. Some of you, this might not resonate with all of you, pile 2, but some of you might have come to this reading because you've got like way different perspectives or opinions on something, and you're trying to come to an answer of like, well, what's the clear true truth between the two opposite opinions. Some of you, that might be what this reading is about. Let's keep going. Then we have the Ace of Pentacles reversed. Okay, maybe an opportunity that was denied, especially with career or finance or things around us, material-wise, home, living situation. Let's keep going. Seven of Swords, deception. Yeah, that's okay. We'll talk about that. And then we have the Guardian of Cups, which is the, that's the Queen of Cups reversed in most decks. Okay, Queen of Cups reversed. Yeah, we're really confused about how to feel about something. We're like, I have no idea. How do I feel about this? Spirit, give me some guidance. Yeah, okay. And then Justice. We have the two opposites again with black and white with the pebble in the pond. Justice is what it says on the tin pile too, is things being in equilibrium and balance. It's interesting, we go from a card that, it's interesting because actually Temperance and Justice are kind of similar, that they're cards of balance in tarot. And for your spread specifically, pile 2, we go from a card of imbalance and immoderation with Temperance reversed in the beginning to a card of perfect balance and justice in the end. So I think pile 2, for those of you that are looking for a perspective on something that you're unclear about, like that's the answer that you've been seeking. You came to this reading and you're like, Spirit, tell it to me straight. What's the honest truth between the different perspectives, including maybe even your own, that you're not sure which to pick out, like what is the truth and what's a lie, okay? If you're looking for an answer on that pile number 2, what I would say to you is there might be someone involved that isn't necessarily being honest, because the Seven of Swords here, especially as the central card, the Seven of Swords tends to mean trickery or deception, someone trying to get away with something, someone that's not being forthcoming. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean like in a malicious way. Of course, we initially get that gut feeling of like, oh, that's a negative connotation when we hear deception, right? Sometimes it's people do things for either, which, I mean, can be negative especially when it's for like selfish reasons. Sometimes they do it because they're trying to spare feelings. Sometimes they do it for, many different reasons. People are deceptive in some way. But I will say there's at least one person that's being deceptive here. Especially too with the symbolism of this particular Seven of Swords. You have all 6 swords that are in a straight line. Like, oh, I'm telling it to you straight. But then there's one sword that is quite crooked with the line casting from it. So what I would tell you, pile number 2, especially for those of you that have gotten a lot of opinions on something, but there's just like one opinion that's like way radically different, if that is your case, then the one opinion that you've gotten on this thing that's radically different is the one that might be like, is kind of deceptive. It might not be the honest truth, okay? So that might be your answer for some of you. Same thing too, there's a message here with the Queen of Cups reversed, with the koi fish here. To make sure that you follow your heart. A Queen of Cups reversed is basically Spirit saying, well, why aren't you listening to your heart? Because she is the internal energy of the feminine turned towards the water element. She is basically, emotions, connections to others, our feelings. How do we feel about something? What's our intuition about something? Okay, so I will also say this, pile number 2, I think what your gut feeling is about whatever this is, like if you were to ask yourself right now, well, what's my perspective on the answer that I'm looking for? Like if you had to ask yourself, what is your best guess? What would that answer be? And so that's Spirit kind of saying, because of that Queen of Cups reverse, the answer is that. Like, I think you're on the right track with what you're thinking. Pile number 2 is what Spirit is saying. And it's interesting. Because in the beginning here, too, we have that Temperance reverse, which is like something being out of balance, something being out of moderation. I think, too, especially next to the Ace of Pentacles reversed pile, too. Some of you, this might be also related to, like, if you were looking for an answer on, like, a job interview feedback or some sort of opportunity regarding career or finances or your home situation. Like, you reached out to try to rent somewhere or to buy a house, or you were looking for a promotion or something along those lines, that's something that matters in the material world, especially, like I said, career and finances. That can mean an Ace of Pentacles reversed in terms of what it represents. So it's like basically some sort of opportunity in that area that either you feel will be denied to you or was denied to you. And I think for a lot of you, perhaps that's because this is the recent past card, it recently was denied to you. And so maybe that's why you feel like, God, well, was my perspective out of alignment? Like, did I just not see things clearly? Like, was I just delusional? What was going on? Or and once again, pile 2, I'll just reiterate, Spirit is saying, well, what do you feel about what the answer is? And I know that feels like a cop-out from the universe, because you're like, well, I came here because I don't know what I feel. But Spirit is saying, rethink that a little bit. Maybe you doubt yourself a little bit too much. Maybe because of voices like the 7 of Swords pile 2. Maybe also, like, some of you, this might be a deception of, like, if you're waiting for an answer back on something, or if you're waiting for, like some of you, it might be feedback on a project that you've done, like, either with work or, like, artistic or what have you. And you like, someone told you that it wasn't going to go well, even when all other signs, including your own gut intuition, told you it was going to go great, but you just haven't received the full answer back yet. That's another sign. If that resonates with you more, like that kind of situation, pile 2, that don't listen to the one naysayer with that. I think you're right in terms of, like, if that's the gut feeling you have of, like, well, it will be received well. I know this is going to, just to put it bluntly, I know this is going to kick ass, but, just maybe dim that one naysayer a little bit in terms of how much you weigh their opinion, okay? Just dim the light on that opinion. If you're like, maybe I don't need to listen to that. And I say that because with radical self-acceptance here, your Lantern Oracle card, it says, you are perceived the way you perceive yourself. But radical self-acceptance in and of itself, pile number 2, is a message from Spirit to, especially where this answer that you're looking for, or whatever it is that you're seeking here, where it intersects with your confidence, to be confident in yourself, to radically self-accept yourself. And 2, I think the more confident you are about it now, it's almost like a mirror reflecting back to the universe to reflect that energy in return to you in a reciprocation, like, twofold. Okay, so the more confident you are about the result or the answer or whatever it is that you're looking for, the better that will be returned to you, because we also have Justice at the end here. Now, Justice is also a card of karma. It's also a card of cause and effect. It's a card of, even this particular depiction, it's a ripple effect, right? It's a pebble hitting a pond. So even the slightest actions of, you know what, I'm going to feel confident about how this is going to go today, or I'm going to feel confident about what answer I might get back today, or I'm going to feel confident about the result of this test, or this thing I applied for, or whatever your situation, pile 2. That can have a ripple effect in the universe of answering with the same enthusiasm in terms of the answer. Ask a question enthusiastically, and most likely you'll get an answer enthusiastically. That's kind of what I'm saying in totality here. In summary, I guess I should say. Now, let's keep going, though. I do want to see what your tea leaves say. This will obviously provide some more details. And then we also have Nature's Whispers Oracle to draw today. So, Spirit, anything else you want to say about this situation for pile number 2? This one says, pick me. We're going with that one. Thank you. Then we also have the other half of the deck. I always kind of have to split it in two because it's a really giant deck. It's a very thick deck, so we split it in two. We shuffle it twice. There we go. 4-leaf clover. Interesting. So we have the 4-leaf clover. Great, good fortune. That's a good sign. Although we do also have cracked cup, dissatisfaction with life. That can kind of mean the reason why you're so worried about it. Maybe the answer that you're seeking, pile number 2, is something that will be a path away from your dissatisfaction with life in some way. So don't get disheartened with that, because we do have literally like the 4-leaf clover, which means lucky. Right on the tin, you're like, oh, I know what that means. Great, good fortune. And then we also have... drum roll, please. Coins, money will be coming to you. Yeah, so especially for those of you, this is job related, or it's related to something that you make money off of, or it's related to like your security, your finances, home stability, those types of things. Like I said with the Ace of Pentacles earlier reversed. You think the opportunity will be denied to you, perhaps, or maybe recently you think you heard some news that it would be, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. This is just another reiteration here that success is coming with this. So, I mean, okay, if there's anything you take away from this reading with pile number 2, if you've had a naysayer that basically said, oh, you suck, this isn't going to work, oh, bad answer is coming, you're never going to win, you're never going to do well, blah, 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 like that crap, bull, just, Spirit is saying, don't listen to that. Don't listen to the deception of that 7 of Swords person. Listen to your own heart. Okay? You do have good things coming, especially where you've been dissatisfied with life, especially with money, and like almost lucky breaks, okay, because of that 4-leafed clover. We also have, of course, like I said, your Nature's Whispers, so let's draw that too. Spirit, anything else you want to say to pile 2 today? So basically, really what this is, pile 2, is a good news reading. Especially if you've been biting your nails, you're worried, you're like, oh my god, does this thing I put out there suck? Did my application suck? Will my test results suck? Like those kinds of questions, the answer from Spirit is no. You're going to be just fine, pile 2. But it's also good to hear some feedback, and it's good to hear some comfort from Spirit too. I mean, that's one of the reasons we turn to Spirit. One of many reasons, right? To answers and clarity and comfort. Maintain your childlike spirit. She's swinging. Beautiful. Number 27. Maintain your childlike spirit. Interesting. I'm going to draw just one card of clarity on that for you, pile 2. I also might draw some extra cards for you, especially because I want to know, like, a card that explains the result. Some of you might already know what the result is in terms of, like, when I tell you, oh, it's going to turn out well, you're like, oh, okay, then I know ABC is going to happen, but I'm going to draw maybe just 2 more cards. Okay. So Spirit, can you clarify the Maintain Your Childlike Spirit card? I think I know what it means, but I just want to be sure. Okay. Oh, yeah, that one. Okay, thank you. The Hanged one, or the Hanged Man reversed, with the different perspective of being on the moon versus the earth. I see we have that perspective thing again. Like the way you perceive things, the way things are illuminated. Especially because the reason we do see the moon is because it's illuminated by the sun. When you think about it astronomically. And maintain your childlike spirit. Different perspectives. Huh. Give me a second on this pile too. I apologize for the little pause here as I'm trying to put it together. Oh. You're too hard on yourself. That's what it means. Okay. It clicked. I was just like, wait a minute, what? All right. pile 2, when you were a kid and, or maybe, I guess not every kid is like this, but kids in general, let's just say that, children in general, when they do things like, so you ever, like pile 2, have you ever had a child create a drawing for you and they showed it to you and it was just like the most absolute greatest thing that they were proud of? They were like, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Look at this thing that I drew. And like, I mean, of course, this is the cute thing about kids, right? One of the many cute things about children, right? Like, okay, how do I put it? And you might look at it and it might be like the crappiest drawing ever because they're a kid, obviously, like, that doesn't matter because, they drew it from the heart and they're still learning how to draw and it's heartwarming because of that. But like you might look at it objectively, like if you were to, compare it to, like, I don't know, Monet or Picasso, he'd be like, well, yeah, the kid's drawing isn't that great, right? But it doesn't matter because you knew it came from the heart, and just the value of seeing a child expressing their creativity and being that excited about showing you what they made and giving it to you as a gift. It doesn't matter what the objective quality, what that thing is. So some of you, this answer might be, even if you're worried about the quality of something that you've submitted or that you've done, some of the answer might be that the other person that might be the recipient of whatever this is will know the effort that you put into it and understand that. And they'll be like, well, you know what? Even if it might not have exactly matched my expectations, I'm going to reward or give it a yes to pile number 2 because I see where the intention and where the effort and the excitement came from. Okay. It doesn't mean that your work is objectively bad or anything. I wasn't saying, like, you're not, like, drawing stick figures that are, barely comprehensible because, like, children do. You know what I mean? But, put that towards your own situation. But also it's another message to pile 2 of remember when you were a child, when you probably did hand your own parents or guardians drawings like that. Oh, look at this wonderful art piece I made, and it was like this barely comprehensible stick figure drawing. Did you feel any shame in being proud of that? Did you feel any second guessing of, is this good enough or not, when you handed that drawing to your teacher or your parent? Well, no, because you were a child. Because you believed in the inherent quality of the things that you produce. Because you know that you put effort into it and it made you happy. That's what Spirit is saying with this particular card with the Hangman and the maintain your childlike spirit. When you create pile 2, create like you did when you were a child. Do not care about the reception. Does it make you happy to make this thing or submit this thing or do this thing? Does it make you feel alive? Does it make you feel young again? Does it give meaning to your existence? And that is your answer on whether or not it's good enough to create or turn in or give or attempt. That's your answer right there. That's what Spirit is saying. Okay. Now, I did want to draw one more card for you. So yeah, not to diss on children's drawings or anything. I love when kids draw things. It's very sweet and cute. But as we all know, they're not always the best artists, right? It's just because they're learning. Same thing when a kid picks up a musical instrument. Or even an adult. If you're new to anything, you're just kind of crap at it at first, and then you get better. But anyways, you know what I mean. I'm not dissing on children, but let's see. And then the last clarity I wanted to ask was kind of about, like, more details about what the answer or the result will be from this thing that you've been seeking and maybe kind of worried about. So Spirit, just maybe one card on that. Like, what's kind of the context of, like, oh, that was fast. We have 2 cards. Thank you. Didn't even get to finish the question. Oh well, Spirit, time does not matter to them. All right, we have Death reversed and the 5 of Cups reversed. Well, that's beautiful. So the answer, pile 2, is overcoming a hardship or a loss or a sorrow where you felt like something would not change. And that's your final answer as to what the answer will be or what the final truth is. Overcoming a hardship or a loss or a sorrow with the 5 of Cups reversed over something that you thought would not change. with death reversed, okay? You think it's not going to change, but it will. So just keep that hope out. Maintain that childlike spirit, as Spirit was saying, okay? Just like you would handing in maybe kind of saying this heartwarmingly, but a kind of crappy stick figure drawing, feeling absolutely no shame when you were 5 years old, okay? View it that way, okay? And that will help you get to where you're supposed to go with this. That will get you the answer and the result that you're seeking and the truth that you're looking for. All right, so very cute reading. Love this reading for you, pile number 2. I hope that you also liked it and that it helped you, and of course, most of all, that it resonated, helped you on your journey. And if so, please like the video, comment down below, and subscribe if you have not done so already. And thank you very much if you choose to do so. That does help me out a lot when you subscribe and comment and like and all those things. And as we always say in our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, full of unashamed stick drawings or whatever it is you're trying to do. Obviously, probably your quality is a bit better than 5-year-old stick drawings, but anyways, you know what I mean. And I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 2. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 3. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about the message you're meant to hear at this point in time. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the beautiful card of the forest with sunbeams, and it looks like a rainbow too, of course, through the woods, and of course, butterflies as well. Butterflies, as we all know, are symbols of transformation and renewal, of change and its inevitability from one thing into another. And of course, we also have the keyword of community, just as a forest is a community of sorts of many different kinds of beings, plants and animals. So what that tells me, pile number 3, is I almost wonder if a lot of you were drawn to this card because you do have a question about a community of some sort. Maybe you are asking about something in your friend group. Maybe you're asking something about your workplace community, or coworkers, maybe the whole situation with your workplace manager, etc. Maybe you're asking about your community in terms of your family. There's something there that you want answered, or you've been kind of, seeking out to the universe to respond to. Some sort of prayer, some sort of question, whatever it might be. A community in all forms, basically, is just to summarize, I think, what a lot of you have been looking for with this particular reading. And that, intuitively, like I said, that's why maybe you were drawn to it in the intro when you were selecting your pile. 2, it might even be community at large. Maybe you have a question about society in general, how the world is going, things like that. It can be as small as your family and as big as the whole entire world. So we will, of course, see more details with your other cards, but that is what I'm feeling right off the bat for your pile today. So let's look first, of course, at the Lantern Oracle, and we're also going to draw your tarot spread. Then later we will draw your other oracle cards to gain more advice and details, etc. So Spirit, what else do you want to say to pile 3 about their message today? Can you hone in on more what you are trying to get across? Thank you. I'm almost wondering if some of you are wishing that a certain group would change. Something within the group that you're wondering about would change. Let's see, we have the unknown. We have a gateway, number 5, knowing the unknown. Okay, once again, we have the symbolism of the world, which is a whole community, of course, in and of itself. Gateway to something new, something you're unsure about, because really what it comes down to when the word unknown pops up in a reading pile number 3 is something that we are slightly uncomfortable with because we don't have a solid foundation of understanding of where something is going. So with that, combined with your community message, maybe it's you're wondering, well, where is this community that I'm asking about going? My family, my workplace, the world, some sort of hobby community that you're in. Maybe you're even asking about what's my place in this world or this community. Maybe it's always kind of eluded you in some way, or maybe it's constantly changing and so you're seeking more answers. Let's look at your tarot cards too. Kind of a nebulous reading today, pile number 3. Perhaps a lot of you have picked pile 3 today. Sometimes messages, as these are general messages, as you know, can have many, many different ways that they resonate. depending on how many souls are tuning in, of course. So, all right, Spirit, what else do you want to say about this? Interesting. Okay, first up, we have the Six of Pentacles reversed. Okay. A bit of something regarding unfairness, especially with equal distribution of wealth or equal distribution of, like, what's fair, what's not. A bit of a justice-oriented card there with the Six of Pentacles, especially when justice meets the material. So, I wonder if some of you have been having issues with, like, either your workplace paying you, or it's like you feel like in this community that you're not equally paid attention to as other people are, or you feel like a feeling of not fitting in somewhere because it feels like every place you try, it just ends up being unfair no matter what. Or society at large you feel like is unfair, if that's more kind of what you've been wondering about when you came to this reading. Let's keep going. We have the Two of Wands reversed. Okay. Unable to make plans. Okay. Bit of a picture forming. Then we have the Nine of Wands reversed. Yeah, we're tired. Oh boy. We're tired. We're worn out with something. Okay. Then we have the Lovers reversed. Yes, disharmony in relationships. Also, sometimes more traditionally can mean inability to make a choice of some sort. And then we've got the Guardian or the Queen of Pentacles upright, feeling secure. Okay, so I will say this. For those of you that are asking, or like you're feeling like this reading is resonating in terms of a question that you've had, or an inkling that you've had about society at large, or the world at large, like where is the world going, or where's society or my culture going, or my country going with this? I think a lot of what you're asking, or where that question is stemming from, is a feeling of, I'm tired with the way this is going. I feel like there's a lot of disharmony in how this is going with other people involved. I feel like I can't make plans for the future. I feel like things are unfair. But despite all of that, also I feel tired. That's the Nine of Wands reversed as well. So a lot of maybe not so happy cards at the beginning here. But the positive twist here, pile number 3 with that, is in the end, as the outcome card, you have the Queen of Pentacles, which is internal security. So if you're asking something, as I said, regarding like the outcome of what's going on with like a bigger community at large, like the world, your society, your country, your culture, etc., I will tell you this. Spirit is not giving too many details about how it will go, like if you fear instability or economic instability, etc. But they are saying that you're going to feel secure inside, financially, materially, no matter what, because of that Queen of Pentacles as the upright card in the outcome. Okay, so whatever you're worried about with that, they are giving you some reassurance in that way. Interestingly, though, for those of you who are more, this is like a micro community. This is more on the level of, oh God, is my workplace going to do a bunch of layoffs? Or, is my department going to do a bunch of layoffs? Like, or will we get fair raises this year? Or, like what's going on? I feel like there's no planning. I feel like I'm tired. I feel like there's like disharmony here with all these cards. Take that same message I said to those that were wondering about a societal thing and apply that to yourself. You're going to be fine, pile number 3. With the Guardian of Pentacles. You're going to feel internally secure. You're going to be okay no matter what. So I would say that that's kind of a prediction in, if that's more your case of what you're asking about, that you're going to be fine. You're not going to be laid off or anything, if like that's your worry. For those of you that this is more on an interpersonal level, it's not so much about society at large or your workplace or like anything like that. Like say you're asking about your family. Okay. Spirit is acknowledging that you're not so sure about how things are going to go. They know you're facing the unknown. You're kind of fearful. They know it feels like things are unfair. Maybe you have someone in your family that has not been fair with you monetarily, financially, or has been taking advantage of you in that way. Or maybe you have someone, like, same thing too, like maybe that's been disrupting your plans here because of the Two of Wands reversed energy. Two of Wands reversed is a feeling of, man, I can't make plans for the future because I just don't have all the materials I need to make solid plans, okay? That kind of feeling. Maybe it's even tiring you out a lot with that Nine of Wands reversed energy. You're like, God, I'm so tired with this family issue that's been popping up. And then, the Lovers reversed is I have a hard time making a choice, and or there's a lot of disharmony here. Same thing with you. If this is family oriented for you, pile number 3, it's going to turn out okay in the end. All right? It's going to be fine. You're going to feel internally secure with your finances, your security, with the things that you're trying to do, no matter what's been going on, either societally, workplace-wise, or with family, okay? And I am hearing something about timing here. Because the outcome card here is a very autumnal scene. This does depend on when you're watching this video. If you're watching it at the time I'm uploading, which is October 2025, this is smack dab autumn, right? At least here in the Northern Hemisphere. If that's the case, I would say this is coming to a head and then a resolvement in your favor soon during this autumn, okay? Or if you're watching this later on in life, past fall 2025, then, apply that to the next autumn that is ahead of you at that point in time with that Guardian or that Queen of Pentacles, okay? Yeah, let's look at some of your other cards. I'm curious what else Spirit will say. So don't fear the unknown in this case is another message coming through from Spirit, okay? I know it's scary, and I've been in this same situation myself multiple times to pile number 3, as of probably everyone watching this, same thing. Everyone, even the other piles, would tell you the same thing. Everyone's had a sensation or a moment in life or a period of time in life, not just a moment, where they felt very afraid of the unknown related to their security and the communities that they're in. Okay. But Spirit is saying, do not fret. This isn't a time that you have to worry or fear the unknown. It's going to be okay with this. Okay, first card we have Cat. Okay, a two-faced friend. Interesting. Let's look at the other half of the deck. We'll see what comes out. Cat, a two-faced friend. Anything else, Spirit, you want to say about this? And then maybe that's what's been causing this disharmony, pile number 3, is, maybe you feel like society has been two-faced. Maybe you feel like your workplace has been kind of two-faced, or your manager at your workplace, or maybe this family member, if you're having, family disharmony issues, or multiple family members even, you're like, man, they feel so two-faced. That might be what Spirit is referring to there. Yeah, okay, this one right there. Thank you, Spirit. And then we have the beetle, but good fortune. Yes. Okay, so that's another reiteration, pile 3. I know I said it before with the Queen of Pentacles here as your outcome card. The beetle is reiterating the same thing. It's saying it's going to be okay. Good fortune. Good luck. Okay. So despite what, might be occurring that feels very disharmonious, and you're tired, you feel like you can't make plans, things feel unfair with this community or whatever's going on, especially if there's a two-faced person involved, or you feel like, if you were to personify the community that you're talking about, it would feel like a personified, two-faced person. However that resonates, good fortune. You're going to have good luck. You're not going to be on the chopping block if you're worried about layoffs. You're not going to fall into ruin. You're not going to be cast away. So really, if I had to summarize this reading for you today, pile 3, it's Spirit giving you kind of a comforting pat on the back. Oh, it's going to be fine. Okay, that's the kind of reading we're getting today. So I sense that maybe Spirit knew that you needed some reassurance today because of this message coming through. Maybe you just got an inkling of news with your workplace or society, country, wherever you are, whatever community you're speaking of. You got an inkling or a piece of news today that made you really scared. You're like, oh crap, this thing is coming. It's like seeing a giant tsunami coming your way, and you're like, oh God, am I going to get swept away in that tide? All right, this one or this one, Spirit, this one. Okay, thank you. And then from Nature's Whispers, Infinite Blessings. How beautiful. And once again, it's kind of an autumnal theme here because we're going from the passage of winter with this almost fairy and kind of angelic looking being casting snowflakes over what was an autumn scene over here on the right. So actually, also with timing, it's kind of like as fall turns into winter. If you're looking for a timing answer on something, pile number 3. Beautiful. So that's just, I mean, I hate to repeat it again. Well, actually, no, I don't hate to repeat it because it's a great thing to hear pile 3. But, in terms of it being repetitive, look at that. Infinite blessings. You're going to be okay. All right. You're going to be fine. You might feel like a winter, metaphorically, is coming in terms of being cold or feeling insecure or feeling like things are going to get dark. Tough times. Those tough times aren't coming, pile number 3. Okay? Or if they do, you're going to weather through it. You're going to be safe, and you're going to be sheltered, and you're going to be secure. So even if it looks like a tsunami is coming your way, it's actually not going to be that bad for you personally, okay? I do want to ask Spirit a final question here of clarity. I'm trying to think, if I were you in your shoes, pile 3, what question would I want to know the answer to most right now? It's interesting because of infinite blessings. It makes me think there's actually a lot of, well, also good fortune too, that there's actually like really positive things that are going to come out of this. And I know that sounds odd because we had so many negative cards in the beginning of the story of what's been going on. So you might hear that and be like, well, what the heck good could come out of this? But I feel like there is something good coming out of it for you. So I'm going to ask Spirit what it is. What's the infinite blessing? What are the good things coming out of this for pile 3? Thank you. Maybe 2 or 3 cards or so. Spirit, thank you. Okay, this one says, pick me. Strength reversed. King of Pentacles reversed. This one right here. And the 5 of Pentacles reversed. Yes, okay. So we asked, because this is kind of a mini reading within your reading pile 3, when we have reversals in what I was asking about, what are the blessings of something? Reversals are things that are either like not going to pass or like things that are going to improve. If it's typically negative when it's a reversal, and then same thing too, like if it's typically, you know what I mean? So like we're asking about blessings here. So none of these cards are going to be negative is what I mean. All right. Well, number 1, I don't know if you need any more reassurance at this point, pile number 3, but you have the 5 of Pentacles reversed, and that's typically a card meaning overcoming a time of hardship, because typically upright, the 5 of Pentacles is I'm left out in the cold, I feel wounded, I feel like some system has failed me. I feel like I'm on hard times. I've lost money, things like that. Reverse, though, it's positive. It means, I don't even have to explain it. It's basically what I said before with the Queen of Pentacles upright and the infinite blessings and the Beetle's good fortune. You're going to be fine. Okay. Just going to say that. Now, we do have the King of Pentacles reversed and the Strength card reversed. So in this little mini blessing reading, the King of Pentacles is especially oriented towards our outward sense of security with finances and career, because it is the masculine element meeting Earth in terms of like tarot elemental coordinations, or not coordinations, blah, 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 symbolism is what I meant to say. And so that combined with Strength reversed, which is kind of what it says on the tin, is a feeling of like, I feel like I'm going to like, well, and then too, it's literally like a cactus blooming in the desert after a feeling of drought. Like finally the rain and the rainy season comes and the desert can bloom after it's been dry. You're going to be fine, pile number 3. Okay. What you're worried about with your external security and what you're worried about in terms of what feels like might be a drought coming is not going to come to pass. You're going to avoid that hardship. You're going to feel internally secure. Basically, it's like you might know a storm is coming, but it's not going to wash away what you have. It's like when you hear that a hurricane has been predicted, or, well, I guess it depends on where you are in the world, pile 3. Adjust that for your local natural disasters. Like here where I live in the Midwestern U.S., it's, oh God, a tornado is coming, right? Usually a tornado, sometimes wildfires, right? And you hear, oh God, a tornado is coming. And maybe you're at that point where you heard that siren, howling eerily off in the distance. And you're like, oh my God, this thing is coming. Holy crap, it's a category 5 or whatever, how that's a big, for those that don't know, it's like the biggest kind of tornado. And so I think that's what it is. Oh, F5, I'm sorry. Not category 5. I was thinking of hurricanes for some reason. Anyways, you know what I meant. Anyways, the worst kind of tornado. You hear the siren, weather stations saying, oh, this big thing is coming. Uh-oh, everyone's freaking out. Maybe even you hear news too. Like, that's another thing, is the way that we consume news online, pile 3, through social media. Sometimes that can feel like a bunch of warning sirens howling in the distance. Like, oh crap, here comes this giant tornado coming to wreck your whole life and tear it all apart, and everything's going to be awful, and everything's going to be bad, And that's the other thing too, is, we don't really take into account how much of what we digest in terms of news affects like our mental state sometimes. I myself get caught into it. You get on YouTube and you get in a loop of, this video over here has this clickbait of this awful thing's going to happen, click here to find out, I mean, it's maybe not that bad of a title, but you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it really is though. And we consume that news and it can really affect our perspectives. And sometimes we hear sirens that aren't really there. You know what I mean? Metaphorically speaking. So you prepare, though, because you hear the siren. You're like, oh, God, here comes this tornado. Uh-oh, it ripped up my neighbor's farm. There goes the cow. Speaking from American Midwest perspective, right? Farms and whatnot. And so you think, oh, that's going to hit me too. Or, like, that's going to affect me too. Or you think, well, why would they be blaring sirens if there wasn't this massive thing coming? I think what's going to happen at the end of this pile number 3 is you're going to be sitting there waiting, biting your nails for this disaster to hit you, and then you're going to look around and someone's going to say, okay, it's over. Or, oh, it never happened, and then you're going to look around and be like, well, where was the disaster I was worrying about? Why were there so many sirens coming about? This is especially if you're like, this is a question that you've been worrying about, or like answer you've been seeking is more on like a societal or like workplace level. For those of you where this is like maybe more family, more interpersonal kind of, intimate relations, family relations, then I would say the metaphor changes a little bit to you fearing the worst case scenario with maybe, say, like the person that's been causing issues in your family. And so you feel like this dread of like, oh, here comes the siren, here comes the tornado, oh, they're going to wreck everything on the way out, or they're going to do this or this and that, blah, 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 whatever keeps you up at night, that type of thinking. And then they're just going to like pass, or they're just going to leave, or the problem's going to stop, and you're going to look around and be like, oh, well, that wasn't the tornado I was expecting. My barn didn't get ripped up. The cow didn't go flying off somewhere in the distance. I shouldn't even laugh. That's really sad when that happens to animals. But, you know what I mean, pile number 3. So, yes, Spirit is just confirming it's going to be fine. Okay, you've had multiple indicators in this reading that I repeated a lot. It's going to be fine. Infinite blessings, the security of the Queen of Pentacles. And then once again, if you're in the blessing little mini reading we had, because I asked, well, what are the infinite blessings? Is where you fear you're going to lack strength, or there's going to be a drought or insecurity, you're going to be fine. It's a time of overcoming hardship there with the 5 of Pentacles reversed, okay? Solid as stone, firm foundations. Things will not be knocked down. The tornado will pass and the buildings will still stand. Okay? Might be more like an F1 tornado instead of an F5. I think that's what they're called. Or EF5? I don't know, whatever. Anyone that's a meteorologist, feel free to correct me if you know more about the technical categories, but you know what I meant. Anyway, so that's your reading for today, pile number 3. Basically a message of take a deep breath. Don't fear the unknown. You'll have security. So I hope you liked it. I hope, of course, most of all, that it helped you and it resonated with your situation or what you came here looking for. If so, please like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and thank you so much if you choose to do, up to, all 3 of those things. But even if you just like the video, that helps too. And I wish you a wonderful rest of your day in our tradition, and I hope to see you in the next reading, pile number 3. See you in the next reading.